something that, oh wow, that was strange. Okay, so this is our contact information. If you ever need, okay, if you ever have any questions about anything at MiraCosta, we are here for you. And we probably won't have the answer, but we can probably connect you with who does or give you the information that you need. So do not hesitate to reach out to me, to reach out to Daria or Monique. We all are here. Sometimes Monique and Daria are working remotely, but it doesn't matter. They're still available by email, by phone and Teams and all that kind of stuff. I'm on campus every day. Do not hesitate to reach out to us with questions. There really are no dumb questions. And I'm still new myself. So, I'm still, sometimes your questions actually help me learn a new thing about MiraCosta. But Daria and Monique are old pros and they've been here and they know where all the bodies are buried and can definitely connect you with whatever you need. So we are here. This is our school, right? We are communication studies, letters, math, and philosophy and religious studies. Our school has classes at 3 of our 4 campuses at Oceanside, San Elijo, and the CLC. Our school doesn't have any classes at the TCI. And Daria, what does TCI stand for? The technology or
Technology Career Institute, I believe.
Technology Career Institute. It's in Carlsbad. That's where they do a lot of skilled trainings. Um, a lot of it is on specialized equipment, manufacturing, machining, stuff like that. Um, and we have a presence in the learning centers, in the STEM center, and the writing center with the MESA program that stands for Math, Engineering, and Science Achievement. One of our math faculty is a coordinator for that program, Angela Beltran Aguilar. Actually, that's one thing. I meant to add their contact information to the slide. So I'll add contact info to the slide. We also have some ACE programs that we are strongly involved with. ACE stands for Academic Success and Equity. We have a long-standing Puente program, which provides academic support for our Latinx students and focuses on transfer. Our MANA community of practice, which is for our Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander students. We have Umoja, which is for our Black African American students. We have courses sheltered for veterans students. And we also have our Transition Scholars program, which is for justice impacted students as they take classes. And then we have kind of our feet in 2 different academic and career pathways or ACPs, the languages, communications, and humanities, and then also math and science. So we are a big school. These are our main academic supports and tutoring services for our students. This is just kind of a brief overview. All this information is available online. The long story short is to just help make these student services visible to students. And, the more you can encourage students to seek things like tutoring, the writing center, the better. As I'm sure you all know, there can be a big stigma around things like tutoring. And students sometimes can have an idea that, the bad kids go to tutoring or that's what my kids would say. Sorry, I should not say that because there's no bad kids and good kids. But, the ones who are not succeeding are the ones who use tutoring. When it's really the opposite, as we all know, the students who are succeeding are the ones who are going to tutoring. And so we want to encourage our students to get those supports. And use the computer lab if they need technology help, reach out to the IT help desk and not just struggle and not be able to get anywhere. So that idea of connection is important, which is also the theme for these. And, they talked about this in the first half of the meeting, so I'm not going to go into a lot of this. But we have our SAS, or our Student Accessibility Services. If you have a student talk to you about accommodations and you have any questions about those accommodations or how to meet them, don't hesitate to reach out. You can either reach out to us, you can reach out to Nick, the Dean of Student Affairs, because we do want to honor our students' accommodations as best we can and do what we can for them. Uh, this care referral, in my opinion, is a great form because it's kind of a one-stop shop for connecting students with resources. So care referrals are for, let's just pull it up if it's going to let me. Here we go. So the nice thing about care referrals is that it really covers a lot for a student. If you in discussions with students, when you're talking with a student, if you realize that maybe they need help with basic needs, you can submit a care referral, transportation, as Larry was discussing earlier. Uh, so there's resources. So care referrals are good for connecting students with resources. The other thing that we use them for is any kind of academic dishonesty. You know, if students are caught plagiarizing or things like that in your class, the care referral is also a way how we interact with student affairs for those kinds of issues. So it's a great resource. If you're submitting a care referral, you can submit one on behalf of a student for things like basic needs. In those cases, I would suggest talking to the student about it first, and having that conversation. So, you know, because they will be contacted, students, you know, student affairs will reach out to them. So it'll give them kind of a heads up about that. Um, for academic dishonesty, you know, that's a little bit of a different story. You also, of course, want to talk to students about that first as well. And then give them heads up, you know, if you're going to be moving forward with a care referral for academic dishonesty. So you definitely want to be in communication with students. But the care referral is a great way to say, hey, someone needs to talk to this student, whether it's about dishonesty on one end of the spectrum, or, you know, I see maybe they, you know, need some transportation assistance, or maybe they could benefit from a technology, you know, request or something like that. So that is our care referral. Questions about that? Has anybody submitted one before? Shelly's nodding her head. Yeah, Shelly, do you have any things to share about that process for maybe some of our newer faculty?
Submitted a lot of care referral forms. And it's really a different process depending on what it is your like request is or what the student issue is. So most recently I had a student issue where there was like some mental health stuff involved, and I was a little bit concerned for the student's safety. And so the mental health office called me almost immediately. They're very, very fast. And so we had like a discussion about that, and they wanted to reach out to her as soon as possible. And I didn't mark it as like an emergency one, but they still like responded very quickly. Last semester, the one I had, it was a little bit more complicated with just an unpleasant student in class, but it really did seem like maybe he needed some mental health support as well. But somebody else contacted me, not with the mental health office, and that was a very different process than I'd experienced previously, because they have sort of changed how they respond to things. They really don't want to talk to students if you haven't told students you're submitting a request. So that's like the big piece. And I did not feel safe with my student, so I did not talk to my student about submitting the request. So we just let him hang out all angry all semester instead. So there's like other paths I could have taken, but I just like decided to leave the student alone. So it really depends on like what it is your you're seeing your students experience. I do it a lot for mental health and a lot with my entirely online classes, more than my in-person classes, because my in-person classes, I can talk to students and really like help them through things in different ways. But it's my online class, I do it a lot more because students will write something in a journal and I'm just like, that's a red flag. Somebody needs to like say something about that that's beyond what I can do. So I really use it a lot for the mental health ones because I see that like gets a response to students.
All right, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, let's close that out. Okay, and oh, this is pretty cool. The student support guide. Um, this is a good thing. You might have already have it like linked in your syllabus or in Canvas somewhere. But this is a nice resource for students that kind of has everything. And there are a lot of student supports at Maricosta, so um, you know, there's a lot in here, but it is nice to have kind of all of this information in one place, right? Here's care, food pantry, all of the contact information, the pathways, proctoring center. So for our math friends, this is important because for the math, especially the online classes, library information, you get the point. It's all here in one place, which is nice for students. Okay, and so this is Dean's Office 101, and all of the forms and things that we're going to ask of you. Again, we will send this presentation to you after today or later today, but we're just going to go over it briefly. The first link up here is for the academic calendar and important dates. Summer's up there. So, for fall, be sure these are indicated on your syllabus, lots of important dates. Yeah. Okay, I was like, why does it say May for fall? That's when enrollment started. As you know, the first day of regular term is the 18th. The last day of classes is, well, the Friday before December 7th, because that's a Monday. December 8th is a Tuesday. Finals go December 8th through the 13th, and then 13th is the very end of fall. Those are a lot of good important dates. This is the page that, if you haven't seen it before, this is a very helpful page because it has a lot of information and more information, all the information that you need, too much to take in at once. But if you're ever wondering, where something important is at the college that you need, it's probably on this page. Pairs, syllabi checklist, keys, distance, all the SURF information, forms, workday information, all about evaluations, your CBA, all the student support services and programs, contact information, union reps, Senate reps. So again, a lot, it's all here in one place, which is nice. So this is probably a good website to bookmark. Okay, so then Monique, did you want to talk about Flex or should I talk about Flex? We'll go ahead and pull this up. Yeah, so the PDP or Flex, right, Flex is what we call professional development. Flex is kind of a strange term, but it's what we use in California community colleges. You might have heard it at other colleges too. They have the same program. It's basically what it means is that we have flexibility in terms of scheduling staff development activities in lieu of instruction. So that's what a flex day is. And so that's why you're paid for that time, is because it is PD in lieu of instruction. There are deadlines around that for associates. This is the biggest important one. right? The deadline to report flex hours for fall is November 7th. So you have until November 7th to um, submit your hours. They do not have to be completed by then. You can list things that you're still going to do, right? And Darian Money, correct me if I'm wrong, that's how I understand all of this. You can still list things even if you haven't done it yet. So there's really no reason not to get paid for all of your flex. Because you still have that wiggle room if you need until the end of the semester to actually complete the flex. You can, if you do more in fall, you can carry those hours over into spring. And the website is a good thing. They have a lot in their Canvas website. Okay, so that's any questions about flex for beauty?
Could you remind us again what our hour obligation is based on our course, right? Our courses, is that how is it 2 hours again for every?
It's
Your
based
LHE
on
times
LHE. Yeah, you're right. It's linked to your teaching load. And Daria, is it 1-for-1 for classroom hours and flex, or is it 2-for-1?
2 times your LHE.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever classroom hours you have in 1 week, you would double that for your flex obligation. That's correct, Moni?
Yes.
Okay.
One follow-up, and this is like more individualized because I'm in the dual enrollment. There was questions yesterday about dual enrollment in Flex. Is there does that not, it was weird. I wasn't sure. Somebody had asked the question that dual enrollment instructors, I don't know, didn't I know? Shelley, you were there. I don't know if you heard that question or not, but I'm like, well, we're Miracosta faculty or associate faculty. We have to do that. And said, I don't know, maybe I missed.
Oceanside.
So there's two different like categories for the dual enrollment faculty. So there's the high school teachers with the minimum qualifications that have like the one class that they teach at their high school campus. And the way their contract is set up, they don't have the flex obligation. But like the regular like Miracosta faculty that go to the high schools, we still have the flex obligation. So it's just like it's the special contract. I think the Carlsbad Unified mostly has those instructors, and then like the private school. So yeah.
Thank you. That makes sense. Thank you so much.
Okay, good questions. Monique, do you want to walk us through office hours?
Sure. Sorry, earlier I was on mute. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Okay, so office hours.
Oh, wait, it's down here, right? Oh. Oh no. I thought I changed that link.
Right.
Okay. I can pull it up. I have a separate document.
Do you want me to wait or?
Well, no, do you wanna?
I could start, yes. So office hours need to be listed on your syllabus. And that is due the end of the first week of school. So that would be due on the 22nd if you'd like to claim office hours. You do need a name. You have to have the date, the days of the week, the time that you plan on meeting, and if it's going to be online or if it's going to be in a classroom. So that will be, office hours will be noted on your syllabus if you would like to claim office hours. It's $50 per hour. That's due again the end of the first week, the syllabi with the office hours. That will, at the end of the year, I will send out a time report to everyone who I have office hours for. And that time report needs to be completed. And it's a little different than how we've done it in the past. It's due by the 8th of December. If you would like to get paid for office hours, they have a date of the 8th that it needs to be submitted. That will be submitted to me and CC to Daria. And I believe that's all that's it.
Yeah, I think the important thing that the small change with office hours is that they really have to be submitted by the last day of class. So we really need, I think there was a little bit of grace period before where maybe you could submit them a little bit after the semester and still be paid out for them. But that has changed a bit, and we need to get those hours submitted by the last day of classes um, for folks to get paid. Yeah, Tina.
Okay, so I'm new, so I apologize. So my question is, does that mean you don't have to do office hours?
Correct.
No, they're not
Wow,
required.
that's
They're
optional?
optional.
Wow. Okay, so um, do you need to, so is there a certain minimum or maximum of office hours?
Yeah, it's
So
your
what's the range? Like, let's say
so
we decide to do it.
say
So,
your LHE is 8, you get 2 hours, so you'd be 16 office hours you could claim. So
so
it's your LHE times 2.
oh, it's the same thing as our professional, our flex.
Yes.
You
So
can do as
It's a good way
many
to
or as few as you want, but you would get paid 2 times your LHE.
so six, if I'm doing six
12 hours is your top amount that you'll get paid for
for the whole year, or is
for
that
the semester.
for this? Oh, 12 hours.
Yes.
So we could distribute those out over the course of this.
It has to be at least 30-minute increments.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So
Right there at 30 minutes. Yes, 30 minutes.
okay, I'm gonna write this down. Times 12 hours max. So you could do a 12 hours max. The other thing that came up in the dual enrollment, I think it was dual enrollment meeting or some meeting I was in yesterday was your office hours have to be approved by your dean. Is that correct?
So what that means is you're going to put it on your syllabus and you're going
Okay.
to have the date, the days of the week, the time that you're going to meet, and how you're going to meet Zoom in person. That, and we're going to talk about the syllabus later, but that's going to be on your syllabus that you're going to submit to syllabi at miracosta.edu. When they say the dean, they mean that it's going to our school where Daria and I will check, and Lauren is aware of this.
Yeah, I mean, the office hours are automatically approved.
Okay.
They're not required, but you are entitled to them. And the pay rate, it's a standard pay rate. It's $50 an hour, for everyone. And so, yeah, so that
Okay.
I
That's
mean,
clear.
the approved, it's more of you need to give us your syllabus, and this is so we can have documentation and we can be able to pay for it at the end.
Got
But
it.
it doesn't need to be
Date.
pre-approved.
Yeah, I thought we had to get it like our hours approved, like when we were gonna do, but that makes sense now. I understand. Okay, thank you.
Just as long as they're listed, the important thing is for them to be listed on your syllabus so that students know. Um, and students know how they can meet
Access.
you,
Okay.
right? If you're teaching exclusively online, you can do Zoom office hours, right? Because that makes sense for students. The important thing is to just, do your best to make them most accessible for students.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
And this is a fairly new practice. We used to do it differently before. So yes, and so that is due the 22nd, the end of the week. You want that syllabus in with your office hours.
Mhm.
And I see Shelley's comment here. So faculty under other deans talk about very different practices. So sorry, you guys get confused. We're going off
I
of
know, sorry.
yeah, well, no, they have different practices than what we're saying. But we're going off of the new way of doing it, which started, I believe, last spring.
semester.
Yeah, last semester, and we are getting directed by the VP, Danae. So we have to follow that procedure. And that's part of their bargaining agreement now. So I don't know what other deans are doing, but we're trying to follow procedure.
Yeah, and just let us know, if you have any questions. I'll say it 100 times. There really are no dumb questions. So yeah, and exactly for reasons like Shelley's saying, things can be a little bit different at a different school. I know a lot, like Bavisha is saying she was working at 4 schools. That's probably 4 different office hours. So it's a lot. I know how much you guys are juggling. And so never feel bad about asking us anything. We know your lives are complicated.
I do want to mention something, that office hours can be held on Zoom, by phone, or in the cafeteria, outdoors, or you could reserve a room for it, which I will be sending out a notification about this so you can see how you can reserve the room. Whatever you do, you cannot hold your office hours in the associate faculty office. I need to make sure I said that because that has tests. So just make sure anyone who isn't aware of that, you cannot hold them in the associate faculty office.
So just to clarify, so if I want to max out on my 12, I would have to write on my syllabus every other Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 10:30 or once a month. You know what I mean? Like, should I put dates on there so it's
I
very
don't think we
specific?
didn't do that last time. Lauren, we didn't do that. I don't think that's necessary, but what do you think, Lauren?
Well, the important thing is that students know,
Right.
right? And so, yeah, you might not be able to list every single day, that might not be practical in your syllabus, but I do think it's important to give students, general information when you are available. If you need to adjust that, that's perfectly reasonable. But like I said, it's important. Students need to know when they are and how to reach you.
Okay, but for accounting purposes at the end, right, Monique? It sounds like you're the one that's kind of, does you?
We're still using the timesheet, right?
Yeah, we're still using the timesheet. So what you would do is I would send you the timesheet at the end, getting near the end of the semester.
Okay.
You would complete it by putting the date. So you put 10/4.
I have to be very micro. I have to document every single day that I'm using.
Yes,
That is the bad part.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure I'm not doing like
on the time report you do. That's
okay,
where you
okay,
get paid.
And do your best with it.
got it. No, that makes sense. I'd rather be proactive and understand it so that I do my accounting right the first at the upfront. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions about office hours? Okay. Let's see. Where are we at? Office hours, probably absences, and I'm being mindful of time. Wow, this is really breezed by. Monique, do you want to go over absences?
So I will also be sending out a notification about absence reporting protocol. It's important. I know it doesn't sound like it is, but for us to have the information that we request in the template, what you'll do is if you are absent, you'll go ahead and email me, CC Daria Davis, CC the department chair, and the dean. The information that we will need is in the template area where we'll need your name, the date, the course, the section number, the class times, the location, if they've been notified or not. You'll also want to make sure that you enter the absence in Workday. So there's two different reportings. One will go to us, which we monitor on a spreadsheet, and then the other will be the Workday absence. So I will send a job aid for that. So it's very easy. And if you need help, we're happy to assist you. This will be going out in the next few days. It's important that if you're going to get a sub, that it requires pre-approval. So you'd work with your department chair to get a sub, and then Lauren would have to approve it. And she's going to approve it unless there's some real strange, like, I don't know. It's not going to be a problem. We rather have instruction, but she does have to pre-approve it. There's things behind that. We need to know who's subbing and those type of things. For the afternoon and evening classes, starting after 3:30, you will, and it's in this email, you will want to include the associate faculty admin assistant, Marilyn Roybal, in that email too, because she will post signs for the evening when Daria and I aren't here, and we'll post them for the day. And that's all I have to say about absences.
Yeah, thank you, Monique. The only thing I would add is, in terms of a sub, and if you can, if you know at all ahead of time that you're going to be absent, I would much rather get a sub than just cancel class when we can. That's not always possible. There are going to be days when you just wake up and you're like, oh my goodness, I have 102 fever and I cannot go to work today, and there's no time to get a sub. We get that. Um, but that does happen. And so when we do have advance notice, it is important to get those subs. It rarely happens, but it does happen where, we can't cancel too many of a certain class, right? Because each class has minimum contact hours that we need to meet for articulation agreements, and we want students to get credit and all of those things. And so, the one-offs when you're just sick, those are totally fine. But when we can get a sub, we do want to get a sub so that students can continue to, meet the instructional hours and get the content and the experience of the class. Even if it's not you, it wouldn't be the same, but a sub is also not bad and needed when we can get them. So for the sake of time, I feel like we should skip to syllabi. We'll say a brief thing about syllabi, and then I think everything else is
I'll be
really
past
just,
associate faculty because I just wanted to say one thing about the evaluations.
and evaluations. Yes.
Should I start syllabi or the evaluation?
Maybe we'll just do syllabi quickly.
Okay, so your syllabus needs to go to syllabi@maricosa.edu. You on that email, you could put all of your syllabi. So if you have three classes you're teaching, you could put each one on there. It's important that it's a PDF attachment, that it's not embedded, and there's not a fluid syllabus. You want to make sure that you name this correctly. We receive hundreds and hundreds of syllabi, and we need to be able to identify them quickly and easily. So the example down below, say you have two English 201 classes, but you are teaching two different sections. You will want a syllabi for each section. And it's important that you name it in the format that's shown. There's no space between English 201. It's underscore, section, underscore, and then your last name. So if you could also put something like that in the subject line. If you don't want to do that, at least put in the subject line, it's English, it's math, it's communication studies, one of those, because all of these emails go to syllabi@maricosa.edu, and there's like 6 or 8 different secretaries pulling stuff from there. So Deary and I will be able to identify our school syllabi. And that is due the first week, the 22nd. And also, please don't email them to my email address. Email them to syllabi@maricosa.edu, to the department chair, Lauren, or no? Do we have that? I think we do.
Yeah, I think we might. Yeah, if as a courtesy to your chair, that would be good. I'm gonna talk with chairs more about that in the fall, so we might be changing process for that. But as of now, the critical email to email them to is the syllabi@maricosta.edu. Questions about syllabi? Okay, ask us later if you do. And then, yeah, evaluations.
Okay, so all of these things you are going to get notice. I will send you the syllabi notice too. So evaluations, if you are up for evaluation, which means either surveys only or observation and surveys, you will receive an email from me within the first 4 weeks for full term classes. So that'll be by September 12th that I will get you, you'll receive an email. It'll let you know it's a full evaluation, surveys only. If it is a full evaluation, I will also let you know who the observer is going to be. You will have that name. I will send the timeline. I go for full-time classes, I send timeline. When they're short-term classes, I wait till we get closer to that date. So just wanted to give you that information, and I'll have dates on all of this. This is a generic one that's up, but there'll be dates on everything on when things are due.
Yeah.
Since I'm new, I'm curious, like, do you guys have like evaluations like first, second, like how many, like what's your evaluation like schedule for new associate faculty members?
New associates are full evaluation the first semester, 3 semesters late. So first semester, 2 semesters later, which means a total of 3 semesters you've been there. It'll be surveys only. And then, so it's every 6 semesters, it's a full eval. And the 3rd semester, it is surveys. So does that make sense?
Yeah, and does somebody from your department be the observer, or is it is it another faculty? I don't know what.
Yes, it's a full-time faculty member.
Mm-hmm. It's another faculty member. Yeah, it's a peer
department.
Yeah, great questions. And the evaluation process, it's really meant to support growth. It's not meant to be a gotcha moment, it's really meant to support continuous improvement, as we can all strive for. And so the feedback is really meant to be feedback that is constructive in a way that helps you grow as a professional. So I know getting evaluated is always nerve-wracking, but please know that we take that spirit of collegiality and continuous improvement to heart, and that's what we try to do in our evaluation process. Well, we are out of time. Look at that. It's 10:59 already. So there's a few things that we didn't get to cover, but they were mostly just links that I was just going to tell you to explore on your own anyways. So we will send out the PowerPoint with all the information. But I think the most important takeaway from today is that Monique and Daria and I are here. Our whole job is to support you as you work with our students, and to make this process as smooth as possible for you. So if you have any questions or concerns, do not hesitate to reach out. And with that, I wish